Today we're going to talk about the push principle. Pray until something happens. So each individual has choices which no one has a right to supersede. Even God doesn't do that. We make our choices. We have a right to that. It's what we are allowed to do. And the flip side of that is we suffer the consequences to our choices. If you make good choices, you have good consequences. If you make poor choices, you have lessons that you're going to be learning. And always remember, it's not what one person says or what they try to tell you, but it's what they are. You know, your who's and your do's have to match. And that was driven home so well to me when my daughter died. I teach these spiritual concepts. I try to help you work through your issues, and I lost the daughter. Was I going to practice my spiritual concepts, or was I going to just lay in bed for the rest of my life? I had to apply my spiritual concepts. It's hard. Sometimes it's very, very hard to apply your spiritual concepts, but in the long run, they're the greatest paying off. If you don't have time to do something right, when are you going to have time to do it over? Pretty simple there. And treat people as they ought to be treated, and you help them become who they're capable of being. How many times have we dealt with somebody that has anger, and maybe they decide to take it out on us, and we want to react? Has nothing to do with us. We're asking a simple request, we're asking a simple question, we're trying to show to them how maybe we were slighted in a way in a business transaction, and we still have to treat them right. That's hard. We don't want to treat people right. It's just something we don't want to do. Oftentimes, but you have to treat people well. There's never an excuse for treating people poorly. And Don, going through a divorce, you know all about that. You know, people treat you nasty, and you just get beside yourself. But the high road is usually the best road in the end. The best way out is always through. If you're trying to work yourself out of a situation, you've got to go through it. You've got to learn the lessons. Every situation is our teacher. And God uses people to show us a new way. You know, we are His instruments. So every situation teaches you something new, and you have to go through those horrible situations like you're going through now. They're horrible, but you got to go through them to get on the other side. If you sidestep them, I guarantee you're going to go through it with Him. I guarantee you've got to learn what you've got to learn.
That's true.
And never, ever, ever give up. You just keep trying different things until something works for you. The opposite of love is not hate, but it's indifference. You know that you've healed when you're indifferent to the crime that was done to you. There's 3 stages to healing. The first stage is you're a victim. The second stage is you're a survivor. And the third stage is you're a blessing. So you're a victim, and that's understandably so. Oftentimes we feel victimized. And then you're a survivor. I've survived child molestation. I survived an alcoholic home. I've survived. The next step is being a blessing, using those experiences and the lessons you've learned from them and be a blessing to someone else. Extend your hand to them so they can walk out of their darkness. An experience is not only a happening, but what the reaction is in your own mind. So something happens and you experience it, but how you react to do it is in your mind. We know we can change people. We cannot change people, places, and things. And we know the only thing we can change is ourselves. Those are great truisms. But how do you do it? How do you change yourself? The only thing you and I can change is our thoughts. And when we change our thoughts, things change. That is what we can change. And that extra mile that you travel, it's never crowded. You don't have to fight to travel that extra mile. Most people don't want to. But it's worth it. Pain is inevitable and suffering is optional. We're going to have some pain along this road. We're going to have pain. Emotional pain, physical pain, mental pain. But suffering is optional. So suffering is how we're going to look at it, how we're going to deal with it. A spiritual awakening generally does not happen all at once. We come to, and then we come to believe. It all comes in stages, and it can take a lifetime. It takes a long time. Spiritual awakening is partly a process of becoming real. That's what we're doing. Every time we get a concept and we get that bright idea, aha, I get it. We're becoming real. We're not becoming so heavenly bound we're no earthly good. Run away from those people. You're becoming real. You're becoming a person that catches on. You're tapping into your inner self. So just remember, spiritual awakening doesn't mean that we are these holy people. I'm certainly not holy. I want to be holy. I want to be a guru. I want to be all these things. But I'm just like you. I'm learning through each individual processes that I have to go through. Teaches me something. Sometimes I learn it really well, and sometimes I don't learn it so well, and here I am doing it over again. But eventually we'll get it, because what we don't get the first time, Spirit brings it back to us. Life must always be lived forward, but it can only be understood by looking backwards. But you have to move forward. And if we don't extend our circle of compassion to all living beings, we are not going to find peace. Compassion is a root of peacefulness. It is one of the roots. Love, compassion, joy. Those are roots to help us live the life that we see. God will wait as long as it takes for us. That energy of God is going to wait as long as it takes. God's like a computer, patient. You can yell at it, you can scream at it, but you know what? Until you put the right password in, until you put the right commands in, your computer isn't going to produce what you want. Neither is the energy of God. So, but fortunately, it'll wait a long time for you to put the right password in, to put the right commands in. Life's most urgent question is, what are you doing for others? Because as others heal as a result of your efforts, you have a great healing too. Remember, healing of the mind is the greatest healing you'll ever have, because it's all in our thoughts. So remember, no matter what your problem, God is the answer. And if you trust in your Heavenly Father, He'll never let you down.